Okay, hello all. It's Yangatu YouTube as usual. Today in our new video we are going to talk about how to calculate I will teach you how to calculate the number of rib-beam for your slab. Okay, if you have a hollow slab that you have to concrete, how to determine the number of rib-beam for a specific span. So here you have a slab, okay, a hollow box slab. This the slab, actually this the span. The longest span is 8 meter by 5 meter. How do you get the number of rib-beam? Actually, these are the rib-beam that actually represent. How do you get their number? That's the question. They are orientated this rib-beam this way because the rib-beam are actually following the short span, actually. So they are following the short span. That's why they are looking but this way, because this is the long span and this is the short span. So they are oriented along the short span. So how do you get the number of rib-beam? That's the question of our video. To get the number of rib-beam for your slab, actually you take the length of the long span divided by the internal length of what? Of your hollow block slab. Okay, this your hollow block that you will use for the slab. Okay, you will take this internal length, that's the length in between two rib-beam. This internal length is equivalent to 47, knowing that the normal length of our hollow block are actually 55 or decking block are actually 55 centimeter. There's this 4 centimeter where actually will be the block will actually land on the rib-beam. So you will take this long span divided by the internal length, this 47. So the number, we will just say the number of rib-beam 2 NR, let's call it NR, will be equal to what? The internal length, removing the width of your beam on these both edges, which is 20 centi, you will be left with what? 7.6 meter, which is also equal to 760 centimeter. Divided by how many? By your 47 centimeter. Okay, you will get how many? You will get 16.17. okay, this will be your number of rib-beam. That's very simple as calculation. So your number of rib-beam, if you want to abbreviate, will also equal to 16. For this span of 8 meter, we'll have 16 rib-beam like this that will be orientated for along the short span. And to add as bonus, I will teach you also how to find the number of decking block that you need to concrete. For example, this slab, how many decking block do you need? To get the number of decking block, you have to check to take this length. You see this spacing, you have to calculate the number of decking block that will fill one of this column like this. That's the spacing in between two rib-beam. You will find the number of block that can fill one of this corridor and multiply it times the number of rib-beam that you actually obtain for your calculation. So number of decking block okay, the number of decking block will be equal to what? Number of decking block, let's just call it NDB, is equal per this, the number, remember, per corridor. Let's just say corridor, this small corridor, I forgot the technical term to actually call it. So this corridor in between two rib-beam, actually. So let's just say NDBC per corridor. The number of decking block per corridor will be equal to what? You take this length, actually, and this length here is also the internal length, because the span here is 5 meter. Removing the width of the beam on both sides, 20 centimeter, you'll be left with 4.6 meter. That's 460 centimeter divided by the divided now by what? You will divide that length, this length like this, by the width of your decking block. That's why it's important to know the dimension as a technician or an engineer, to help you to have an accurate estimate. The width of your decking block is actually 20 20 centimeter. The width is actually along this direction. Is usually 20 centimeter. I forgot to mention it. So dividing by 20 centimeter, you have what? 460 divided by 20 centimeter, you have 23. So you have 23 hollow block or decking block. Okay, 23. Let's just say decking block. That's decking block for one corridor. Okay, remember, and we have how many ribbon? We found 16 ribbon. Okay, these are the number of ribbon that we actually got. So to have the total number of decking block, you just take the number, let's just call it NTDB. The total number of decking block, okay, will be equal to what? To 23 times what? Times the number of what? Times the number of ribbon that you actually obtain after your calculation. That's 16. It will give you 23 times 16. You will come out, it will give you 368 decking. 368 decking blocks. Okay, so the total number of blocks that you need to concrete this slab will be 368. But as usual, we cannot work without waste ratio, because in the course of working there might be some block that will get break and so on. We'll have to maybe break some to adjust some part and so on. So considering the waste ratio, okay, the waste ratio of 5%. I usually take 5% as waste ratio, which is actually very good as waste ratio. So you have the final NF of DB. The final number of decking block will be what? I just call it, you will take our 368, okay, plus 368 times 5 divided by 100. So what are you doing by adding here? You are just adding the 5% of waste ratio to the total number of decking block that you obtain. I hope it's going well. Okay, so at the end of the day, you will come out with what? 368 times 5 divided by 100 plus 368. You have 386. We'll come out with an answer of 300, and our NFDB will be okay 386.4, which can be rounded since we are in the term of we are in the situation of majoration. We are trying to minimize the error. Okay, we can just put that our answer is 387 decking block. Okay, so this is the number of decking block that will be required to actually concrete that slab and have without any stress, without any disturbance along the process. So if you have learned something new, don't forget to leave me a like, subscribe to the channel to encourage me at least. Okay, subscribe to the channel and also share the video. If you can even leave a comment, it will be very useful for me to help myself to improve. Thank you so much.